earphones. Because ain't no way in heck that I'll be back. I gotta run back in the office to get my earphones. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to the gym without my earphones. All right. Sorry for the wait. Daggone it. I had to get my earphones. Guess what, y'all? I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. Going to the gym. Gonna go run. Gonna work out. Gonna hit the hot tub like And I'm on a mission to lose 25 pounds. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Shoot, I got to be able to hit these corners and make moves. I'm on a mission to do what I need to do. So, okay. So, I want to discuss this because I saw this on a video yesterday where there were a group of young women and they were talking about if you don't do this, you're going to be single at 40. Hey, slow it down, slow it down. Don't hit me because I am the manager. Like you came around that corner like, wait a minute, wait. You want okay. No, you came around the corner flying. Oh. Sorry about that. Have a good one. He talking about he can't see me. You still not supposed to be driving like a daggone maniac. Y'all gonna make me have to put a daggone what's the name out here? I can't see you because your lights ain't on. I'm driving a van. Anywho, he played too much. Um. So okay. So let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. So what was I saying? Oh, so these young women were saying, they had a conversation and they was like, ladies, if we don't change the way that we do things we're gonna be 40, 40 and alone. I'm like, you really think that you need to change something? Well, you do. You definitely need to change something. But this goes to the both. Um, this goes for the females and the males. You definitely need to say to change something, or y'all gonna be single. Okay. But let's get to what I'm talking about. So they're thinking that if I change who I am to conform to who he wants and define what he wants, then that means I won't be lonely. Who the heck wants to live like that? I'm just saying, who wants to live like this? With a lot of young ladies don't understand, and I have to say, yeah, I'm talking about those that are like 18 and older, 19 and older, just getting into the dating field, just getting a boyfriend, or somebody you've been talking to for 3 years. You 21 years old, and you 25, 26, you in your 30s, and now you really want to settle down, and now you're trying to become this better woman for this man. The issue is the moral compass of everybody that's out here. And see, I learned this the hard way. And as a 40-year-old, I can definitely tell you one thing. You cannot change a man. You cannot change. He has to change himself. He has to change himself and better himself. You think that you can bring a man happiness by cooking the best plates, dishes, the hors d'oeuvres. I've seen my grandmother. I'm talking about my grandmother. When I tell you she can cook out of a cookbook, it took me years just to perfect her Louisiana potato salad. And even after all of that, I saw what my grandfather did. I have seen men, and I'm not sitting up here. There are good men out here, so I heard. There are good men out here, and there are good men that I've met, and they have been hurt, they have been wrong, and some of them are still growing strong in their relationships when it comes to marriage. Number one, you pick me chicks out there, y'all keep listening to the guys who are divorcing their wives. Like, what's that guy, Jackson or something like that? He was sitting up here doing all of these YouTube videos and talking about love, relationships, and women. You need to know yourself. And the whole time, you're narcissistic and you're cheating on your wife. And your wife is sitting up here, she's praying as hard as she can, that a lot of people are thinking that she's crazy. She's praying as hard as she can to fight the forces that is coming against her her union with her husband. And they're going to the wayside, just like a lot of marriages out here, because one or two people decide that they were going to be tempted by the enemy and walk away and forget the covenant that they took. So you sit up here and you say, well, how can I? Let me go back, because sometimes y'all know how I do. Sometimes I like to flip flop back and forth. But let me go back to what I was explaining to the young ladies out there. Number one, you think you're gonna cook? You're gonna cook and clean and tidy up? Because I know chicks that pay bank for their boo, bringing in the bag for their book. Oh, he gonna pick me because he know that I take care of the bills, I cook, I clean, I do everything for him. He got a personal secretary, and you not even getting paid for it. And then a lot of you, especially you 21-year-olds, you 22, 25, really wet behind your ears, really don't know nothing. You sit up here and you look at women that's 35 plus, and you like, oh, y'all just whatever, no, boo. A lot of these women, they're not dealing with the BS no more. They're not. They've been put through the ringer. They sacrificed their time, their energy, their youth. They're not doing it. They did it in the 20s and on to the next level. They are not doing it. They have learned. They have learned, number one. And if somebody would have told me this years ago, I would, in my 20s, I would have been something to be reckoned with. Number one, okay, You become what you think about. I didn't know that until I got into my freaking 30s, my late 30s, that you really become what you think about. So if you are all the time thinking about this dude and how he feeling on his day, and if somebody made him upset and he's taking it out on you, and every time you turn around it's drama. Some of y'all feed off of drama. He hit you, you hit him back, y'all sitting up there knocking the boots, back and forth drama. Who you with? You right? You think it's cute? It ain't cute. It's drama. And a lot of y'all see a lot of this drama on the Love and Hip Hops and the reality shows, but notice what they do before they bring you this drama. They start drinking. And a lot of times when you meet that so-called person you in love with, majority of the time you already been drunk. You already on your third glass, so you're not even paying attention. You're not even focused. You're not even on your best self because you're so much on your drunk self. You're so much on your high self that you can't even see this individual for who they are. And then when you sober, the person getting on your nerves or vice versa. So number one, remember you become what you think about. And it's true what they say. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Show me your man. And that's something. Let me tell you something. The devil will use a man to take down your glory, and vice versa. He'll use a woman to take down your glory too. So y'all sitting up here trying to, and I see some of the most narcissistic men on YouTube trying to tell somebody why they not a 10. See, the reason why you not a 10 is because you ain't even got to this level. You looking for a 6-figure man, but you can't even do this. And I'm like, look at the kettle, calling it black. Like, are you kidding me? I'm looking at you like, look at all of the flaws in you, and now you gonna try to tell a woman how she ought to be a woman. The issue is that a lot of folks are walking around here with mirrors on. I mean, like mirrors in front of their faces. You got to prove something to me. You got to show something to me. And then it's those that are like, I just don't want to be lonely, so I'll do anything. Never. I'm trying to tell you some real stuff. The Bible says, don't put your trust in man. Okay? You put your trust in God. Don't put your trust in man, for he's like, his nostrils is full of air. Like, come on, man. Man has shown and proved that he will fail over and over and over again. So if you're looking for perfection, you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. So the one thing that I would say, especially with a lot of these young women out here, is you think that because you gave up the booty, you gave up, you gave up the money, now you showing you down. You trying to slide in just to be a girlfriend. You trying to slide in just to be a girlfriend. There was a lady who she was upset because her 10-year relationship, the guy proposed to her, and she was so upset because the way he did it, they in a car, he just bring out a ring, and she like, after all the 10 years, all of the hard work she so-called put in, this is what she gets. See, that's where y'all got it twisted. Women, you're not supposed to be putting in work to get any man's hand, period. That's number one. You need to know your worth. You need to know your worth. Because if you don't know your worth, you are willing to settle for anything. And if you're willing to settle for anything, that's going to be dangerous as heck. And then you got these men out here that want to tear you down to their level, so you don't shoot for the stars. So you don't, you know what I'm saying? So you don't find yourself. First of all, you got to find peace and happiness in yourself. Some of y'all ain't never been without a man. Some of you are always looking for somebody to hold you and call you baby, and have a boo on your arm. Like, you ain't never been, like, the only time you been without a man is when you was in your mother's womb, when she pushed you out when you were a kid. And then by the time you hit, when you became of age, you've always had a man in your face that you never been able to get to the potential that you're supposed to get to, because somebody always in your face. You never have enough time for God. You really don't. And then they sit up here and talk about your Boaz is coming, your man is coming. Girl, you need to get some things straight within yourself first, okay? And it's the same thing with the dudes. Like, I feel like the guys out here, you're always on the look for the next best thing. Yeah, she pretty. Yeah, she fine. Yeah, she cook and clean and does everything for you, playhouse. You know, if there's anybody that you would ever need, she always gonna have your back. But you also know she ain't going nowhere. So therefore, you decide that you're gonna wander out here and find something better than her. And then if she looked like she started to get a gray hair, then all of a sudden she's nothing to you. You trade her in like she's a car. That is a sin. I think not no nothing. It's a sin. And so now you have these young ladies that sitting up here. Let me go back to the video. So she's like, if we don't get it together, we're going to be single because we did. I'm sorry, honey. This all goes back to keeping God's commandments. This goes back to a society. This goes back to the mind frame of men thinking because you could come across the wrong man. The wrong man. I told you I had a dream, and y'all know I am for marriages. I am for marriages. I love marriages. That's what God has. He created marriages, male and female, to join and be one flesh, and they multiply. That's the reason why we are here. That's the reason why women want to be married. Okay. You have that desire. That desire was instilled into you, but you got to be very wise who you join yourself with. You can't just give that over to any and everybody. You know, I said this years ago. I said this years ago and I was laughing. You know, I was in my 20s. This is going to sound really crazy, but I need you to hear me for this. For I need you to hear me. Let's say that everybody's bottom parts could be attached and detached. And you had to be very careful, or we could use a heart as an example. But once you give it to that person may not give it back to you. And that is something very sacred. If you knew and heard the rumors of Sally up the hill, who had a body part on her that was attached to her, but she fell in love with the wrong man and he took that and he never gave it back. She walking around here missing something because she gave it to somebody else. You need to understand how sacred your body is. Like y'all give away your body so freaking easy. And then you wonder why you're dealing with the drama because that dude and brought in the wrong spirits that y'all interchanged in. And now you taking on traits that you never had before. And that's vice versa, even with the men out here that are dating. You got to be very, very careful. You have to be very careful. And a lot of people, they don't want to break it down, but I'm tell you, I learned the hard way. Like I learned, like I always, I'm speaking from my example, from my situations. When I was in my early 20s, I wanted to be married. I wanted to picket fence. I wanted a husband. I wanted children. I wanted to be a good wife that'll keep house, cook, clean, be this beautiful wife that my husband would be so proud of. And the whole time I wanted him to be proud of me. I wanted him to love me. I wanted to serve him. I wanted to do that. See, and a lot of women have it built in them to, because we're nurturers at nature. You know what I'm saying? So we have it to be there, and I wanted to be like that personal cheerleader for my man. But I'm one thing that I noticed after being in from relationship to relationship, it was draining. It was draining because when I wanted someone to love me, I was being hurt. Like, how could you hurt me after everything that I did? And most women, the most ultimate gift that we can give to a man is his children. So when you see this man, you're not only in love, but you just like, I want to have his child. Like I want to bring forth his generation. I want him to be proud of me and say, this is my woman, this is my wife. She brought forth a child. that look like me. And you would think like men to be like, yeah, most men, especially back in the day in the Bible, they were proud, like, my wife is bearing my child. Nowadays, man, these dudes, the minute you tell him you pregnant, he's already then changed the number and skipped town on you. Why do you think we have so many baby mamas out here, baby fathers out here, people having babies out of wedlock? Do folks promising marriage and all this other stuff, but instead they'll put a baby in you. Now, one guy said this, and he said that, just to let you know, majority of my friends had children before marriage, and none of them are married. Only one of them is. And so their kids are like, teenagers, young in their 20s or whatever like that. But they learned it the hard way of loving somebody and ended up giving their bodies and then getting pregnant with that person and thinking that man is going to be a provider. That man is going to, he going to hold it down and make sure the bills paid and all that. No, no, nothing, wouldn't even nothing like that. Never worked like that. We heard of those type of rumors that, men will provide or whatever like that. But in this case, nope, didn't happen. So I would honestly say to a lot of you young women out there, if you really want a man to chase you, if you really want a man to want you and love you, don't give it up. Don't give it up. Don't give it up. He can holler, scream, talk about how many meals he bought for you. If he cannot wait, if he cannot, if he's not serious enough to say, let's get married and make this about us and family, if he's not, don't give it up. Do not give it up. And there has been cases where some folks waited until they got married, and as soon as they got married, what happened? Here come the enemy tempting somebody, and they end up falling. But I'm trying to tell you, you're going to deal with a lot of hardships and headaches if you give your body up. You're going to get a lot of, he didn't ghost you, he didn't talk to you, because even some men actually despise you once you give it up. Once they got their knocks off, they're like, why don't you get out of my house? Like, I've heard guys say this, like, after they did it, they were like wondering how long is it going to take for her to get up and go. And you think you done did something because, yeah, I didn't know. He looked at you like a trash can. I'm going to tell you right now, the virtuous crew, hashtag virtuous women, have these good guys work for you. Work for your hand. Don't give up. No peep shows, none of that. If some of y'all be like, well, what am I supposed to do? Celibacy, go places, have fun in the Lord. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you're supposed to be some daggone church mouse, but I'm trying to say is that right now, with you're dealing with a big freaking some demonic type stuff out there. You got to keep your body sacred in these times, because and pray that God is going to send you a man who ain't, you know what I'm saying, that he's clean too. You cannot give your body over to these trashy dudes out here. These dudes are filthy. If y'all could understand some of the things that I've heard, I am telling y'all, and I'm warning you. You sitting up here all worried about whether or not you're going to be lonely at 40. Girl, that's the last thing you need to be thinking about. Because I be looking at y'all like y'all have no idea what y'all dealing with out here. Y'all have no idea what y'all dealing with. Like, people don't have no morals no more. And when they see something that they want, they will keep going after it until they get it. And if they got it, just as easy as they got it, trust and believe me, they do not want anything to do with you. They don't. If they don't have to work for it, if they're not working for it, look, the Bible says this: a man don't work, he don't eat. If he's not working to create a relationship with you, working to be your husband, because that's the whole purpose of courting and dating, whether or not y'all gonna get married, whether or not you going to spend the rest of your life with somebody. I don't care what anybody say. A lot of people are like, I'm not into the dating scene, no, I'm not into the marriage scene. No, well, okay, whatever, but you are. Why would you want Why wouldn't you want what is supposed to be given to you, how God created us? But the reason why y'all dealing with this drama is because number one, y'all sleeping around, and look at your crew. You got a crew, a bunch of thoughts, man. About and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B and all of them hood rats, they didn't make it any better for y'all. Y'all sit up here, y'all listen to this ratchy mess, and all they do is attract dogs. They don't attract men. They don't attract good God-fearing men. They attract dogs. And when you listening to that, like, yeah, you know what, me and my girls, we gonna pop, we gonna do whatever. Woo woo. You're showing like, okay, which side are you on? You want to be a virtuous woman, or do you want to be a hoe? You want to be a go-getter? You know what I mean? When dudes look and be like, she's out of my league. She's out of my league because you can't touch her. I remember you can look, but you bet not cut. Look, you can look, but you bet not touch. You know what I'm saying? Like they know like she's untouchable. Like you gotta like really step up your game to be around her. You gotta put on ties and all this other stuff. You gotta be a better person to be around that. Like y'all gotta get out of that. And for all of these dudes out here talk about your standards is too high. Please, let me tell you something, ladies. I have met men not even from the USA, and there's men around the USA, not just in your regular neighborhood, but men that know a good thing when they see it. But if you present yourself as a thought, that's exactly what you're gonna get. You're gonna get one of them hood dude thoughts. You know what I'm saying? He just is out there and nasty as heck. So you gotta become better. Like you gotta, step your game up, level up. And with that, you have to know like nobody is supposed to be touching you. You have to know your worth. I know women. I was talking to one of my good friends. She been in a relationship with her boyfriend for 20 years. He out there cheating now. She is 40. He's sitting up there cheating with younger women, and he coming home or leaving home. They're not even married. When she don't feel like giving up her body, he arguing, you ain't giving me nothing. See, that's because you didn't gave the milk away. So he don't even want to buy the daggone cow. And then when he leave you and marry somebody else with standards, you be like, but look at all the work I put in. That work don't mean nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing. See, I learned that when you take on a new relationship, it's a new emotion that comes into play in your life. I'm only dealing with three emotions when I go home. It's me, my mother, and my daughter. When you have to take on a new emotion, getting to know somebody, the things they like and don't like, and and if they say something, and trying to be, it's just so much. So why even go through that if you think you're gonna have to go through 10 of those guys just to find or think you're gonna get the right one? Work on yourself and know what you want. Know what type of class of man you want to come around you. And it ain't even if everybody's talking about the figures he got him at, it just as long as he is working and wanting to provide and protect. That ain't asking for too much. A lot of folks are out here talk about, yeah, I want too much. That's not asking for too much. Like I said, man, I told y'all the story. I had to get some trees cut. And I was like, Lord, how am I do that? Because it costs a lot of money to get these trees cut. And the Lord sent me somebody. This guy was a tree. He like climbed in the trees like a monkey. And he had one of them, the electrical chainsaws. And he was up in the tree cutting them trees down. I said, well, I'll be daggone it. This dude made pretty much $800 and like 2 hours off of me. The job looked big, but he did it within like 2 hours. And when he was taking a break, and I came out to check things out, he on the phone with his wife. He ain't even from the country. Well, he live in the country, but he not even from here. He on the phone with his wife. And I'm like, he out here making the living with his hands. That's the thing. Men need to work. You have to work and be providers. Therefore, women, do not settle. If the man ain't going where he talking about, well, he got ambitions to be a boxer, he got ambitions to be a rapper, and let me tell you, years ago, I used to date a rap. I mean, not a rapper. I used to rap, but I used to date a boxer, and his coach was like, dude, and he was a truck driver too, and his coach was like, do you think like your girl will be okay to like hold you down while you doing your boxing career? He said to him, my girl ain't going for that. And I'm like, you daggone right. I'm not gonna be sitting here taking care of a grown man, while you trying to get your dreams and ambitions and I'm struggling. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. If anything, we both gonna put in together. And then I'm gonna tell you something. What a lot of people don't understand, the blessings in a marriage between a husband and a wife. You're both building together, especially if you're both going out there and getting it and you putting it in the pot. Like it's way more than just it's mine, it's hers, it's whatever, it's y'all's. But people's hearts are so selfish. They're so selfish these days. Like I said earlier this morning, I mean, I was explaining to y'all earlier this morning that young guy was sitting up here eating his food while his date didn't have nothing to eat, and he was making fun of her. Like, what, young ladies? What? First of all, if he ain't paying, you ain't playing. You not going out on no daggone date if he not playing. You can meet him up at the movies or whatever y'all going to get, but if he's not even paying for the bill, make sure always have your own money. Always make sure you got your own money. Try to make sure you got your own way to get somewhere, your own way to get back home. Because I remember years ago, I let this guy pick me up, and I'm going to tell you, it was a date from hell. I was praying to get back home. And I was trying to be so nice to him because he was going off for everybody. And I realized this dude is a nut. And I sat right up in here. This is before we had the touch screen phones. And I'm just telling y'all the real stuff. I cursed them out, but I learned a valuable lesson. Never go anywhere with a man unless you're driving your stuff and you need to go somewhere where it's public. Okay? Because there are a lot of women who go places and they don't make it back home. They don't. Also, too, make sure you got your own money just in case. Because there are some men that'll sit up here and they'll take you. I remember years ago, and I'm spilling all the tea. I remember years ago, I went out on a date with this guy, and he had money, but what he was doing was we went to Georgetown. He was trying to cause an argument so he can walk out. And every time he was walking out, I was like, oh my gosh, we just ate this meal and this daggone bill. This dude keep walking out and walking out. Y'all, when he did that one more time, I went off in it. And trust me, he paid the bill, but I realized this, I'll never go anywhere without my own money. Now, this is the words to the wise. Make sure you got your own money to pay for your own things. Make sure you got your own ride. Also, if you're moving anywhere with anybody, my suggestion to any young lady out there, don't move no man in there with you. Because all he's gonna do is dictate. Make sure your name is on it. It's in what y'all doing out here. You better make sure your name is on it. Don't ever be stuck where your name is not on it. Okay. When my husband at the time, when he, my covenant husband, when we rented the house that we were staying in, the house belonged to his parents. They went and got the house for us to rent it. And so when he didn't want no more parts of me, they had every right to take back the property in which it belonged to them. So I got that 30-day, we want you out of the house. You see what I'm saying? And I learned a valuable lesson then. I would never, everything has to be in my name. Everything. I want it all in my name. I don't care. I want it in my name. It got to be in my name. So when I signed the dot on the line with my name on it, the only name is my name. Years ago, I had somebody co-sign for me, and the guy that co-signed something, he just like ringed it all in my ear. And I'm like, that was the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world. Never have a man to co-sign anything for you. Make sure everything is in your name. And I'm only saying this because I've been through some stuff. My first apartment was in my name and I got it on my own. I roommated with my cousin, so with females. Um, but after that, I started allowing folks to co-sign for me, and I went through hell and high water. But I learned a valuable lesson: never again, never again. Now take this from a 40-year-old that's trying to give you some, peep you on some game. Okay, so number one, remember that man, whoever you're dating, talking to, he needs to be working to get your hand in marriage. The Bible says a man who findeth the wife finds a good thing. The Bible don't say anything about a woman who finds a husband findeth the good thing. I didn't read that. I didn't read that. I mean, you have not sinned because you got a husband, but I didn't read that. But for some odd reason, I'm seeing all of these dudes around here talking about you. You ain't even a 10. You a 3. You a 2. And I'm like, well. Look, let's see how perfect he is. And I'm looking at all of these feminine traits with these dudes that got a nerve to be talking about y'all, telling y'all to lower your standards. No, you don't lower your standards, but at the same time, you need to carry yourself with the same standards that you want to have. So you want this, whatever, you need to carry yourself like that. And if you're not finding, if you're going into this particular pond and it's the same type of daggone fish, sister, then you need to go over there to the ocean then. You need to go over there to the sea, all right? You need to go somewhere else where men will look at you and be like, wow, that doesn't look like anything from around here, and really want to get to know you. It don't have to be here in your state, whether you in Texas, Miami, whether you in New Jersey, New York, or Baltimore. It don't have to be in your backyard. The world is so big. But never sit up there and settle talking about, I'm gonna be 40 years old and all by myself. So what do you want? You just want to settle? I remember that dude, Sam, used to talk about table of one, table of one. And what's wrong with a table of one? Huh? Well, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the best part about my age is that if I wanted to go home and make a nice crab cake and have champagne, get on the mic and start singing or something, or doing the things that I like, I can do it without somebody saying that's too late. I can do it without somebody saying, or somebody over me trying to rule me. Because when you are in a relationship, yes, it's a two-way thing, but the man leads. You know what I mean? He does. And I'm not going to say like he's just a boss dude, but you got to be very careful because you got a lot of guys out here that can be very bossy. I see guys out here that can be very intimidated about what they have. And so what they try to do is control that person. I dealt with that with one of the guys I dated. He knew that I was in music, and when he saw me performing, then all of a sudden he started grabbing me up in front of everybody, and like I was his property. I'm like, "What's up with this?" He just started acting crazy and just doing, dumb stuff, and I couldn't understand it. And when I got rid of that, I was just like, I don't want that. I ended up marrying my husband at the time, but and I thought with him, I can honestly say I tried to be this perfect wife. I wanted dinner to be right, the house to be cleaned. I wanted to make sure that he knew I loved him. And I forgot myself. I forgot myself. Like, I forgot the things that I like to do, or the things that I really like to do. I didn't do it because he didn't like to do it. Now I can do it now, and ain't nobody telling me to stop. I do things in the Lord. I do things that I know that ain't a sin, and God be like, go ahead, Mona. I remember when my husband will be at cookouts 4th of July, and he be like, babe, I really don't like the loud noise of 4th of July. And I understood. So, we would have to kind of leave and go because he really didn't like the noise. But I'm going to tell you, when I went to the beach and when we flew out Florida, and the Lord was like, Mona, don't you like fireworks? And I was like, I sure do. We lit that beach up, and I didn't have nobody to tell me to stop. That's the wonderful thing about when when you're by yourself right now is that you can really find the things that you love to do. And the only person that's going to stop you from getting to the next level is you. Because a lot of times, if you don't have a man that's like on that level of trying to get things and go places or even have something in common with you, they can stunt your growth. They can block you from getting to the next level. They really can. They'll come up with every excuse why they don't want to go somewhere. Like I was talking to my god sister, and she was married and she's still married, but her husband, he was afraid to get on the plane, so she didn't go anywhere. And she talked about my godmother, her mother, before she went on to be with the Lord, how her mother dreamed and wanted to go places, but she didn't because her husband was too afraid and he was always doing something. You got to be very careful because some people can stop you from going places, but you're so worried about having somebody next to you to venture off, and that person may not even want to venture off. You see what I'm saying? That person may not even be compatible enough, and you like to work out, and they all don't want to work out, and they smoking all day. You don't even smoke, and then all of a sudden you start smoking cigarettes. I mean, this is like, for instance, when I was with my husband at the time, he smoked cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes. I got pregnant, I quit smoking cigarettes. And then, he ate meat, and he ate it a certain way, so I cooked it a certain way, but I don't even eat meat no more. I don't even eat meat anymore. There are things that I like to do where sometimes when I think if I had a significant other, will that person stop me from having fun? And I think about all of the past things that I've been through, and I'm like, nah, I'm out of the game. So I'm not even thinking about stuff like that. So y'all need to be very careful of the things that you want. But right now, why don't you find your best potential on the things that you can do, and never settle. Never settle. Never sit up here and say, well, I guess because he the only guy um around here, I guess I could deal with it just for the sake of not being alone. Never. Never. And don't ever think either, and I know I'm flip-flopping all the way back and forth, and don't ever think because you love him so much, if you bring a baby in, it's going to change everything. You may just find him dip out even quicker. And that don't mean for you to try to destroy what God, what God has growing in you, but avoid it. Avoid it. Abstinence. I'm trying to tell you one thing that I was told years ago, and I know it's true, is that a man loves the chase. If he know he can't get you, he will try. Only, let me tell you something. All of us as a human race has it in us to go after something. You know why? Because every last one of us was a product of that one sperm that was racing against millions of other sperms and got to the egg, and there you came. So if a man wants you, he will go after you. He will want to see about you. He'll want to check on you. He'll want to know. You know what I'm saying? And if he does not, he's not worth it. You should never have to chase a man. You should never have to be like, oh, I was just, trying to see how you were doing and bringing pies. No, you shouldn't have to do all of that. Because if he's not willing to go after you now, if he's not willing to go after you now, when stuff hit whatever, he may be the first to walk away because he never even put up a fight for you from the get-go. I believe that there's someone for everyone because how God created us. There's all shapes and sizes. You could be tall, you could be short, small, you could be big, not big. A lot of people try to tell you got to be a perfect size 6. Well, I got news for you. The body is so imperfect that everybody is going to die one day. And it baffles me. Like I saw this snippet where the lady was like talking to her husband, her baby father, I guess, and she was like, you're old and I'm young, and he's 40 and she's 35. I'm like, that's a 5-year difference. You know how many 20-year-olds are dead? How many 20-something-year-old, 26-year-old funerals I done went to? 22, and they were young. Like, what do you think? Like at a 5-year difference, that person is going to expire or something like that? And it's amazing how you have these men, these older men, that are sitting up here talking about their same peers, like the women that are the same age as them, the same ones that they grew up and loved and dated. Now all of a sudden you sitting up there making her look like she's just worn down and there's nothing left for her. But at the same time, your life expectancy is pretty much the same as her. You both 50, you're both 60, you're both 40, you're both 30. But you say, but men can do whatever. No, you still gonna die just like she gonna die. But I don't understand. Like, what do you think, you gonna live longer? And some people say, well, men have a more stamina to do stuff, and they can have more kids. Come on, don't even go there with the kid thing, because majority of y'all don't even take care of your daggone kids. You're not even there for your daggone kids. You wouldn't even know what to do. So you got kids that's in your 20s, in their 20s, and now you're sitting up here and you're looking at a 28-year-old that's like 8 years older than your daughter, and are you kidding me? It doesn't sound, it's stupid. It's just stupid. So all I can say is this, young ladies, is that date somebody in your youth, because a lot of older guys will want you to step up to their levels. And when I was in my 20s, I didn't like to. I never dated older guys. I had one guy he lied like heck to me, and then I found out his real age, and I knew he was older when he said, "Those them jokers over there don't play." Jokers? Who says jokers? You know what I mean? Like, when you say stuff like that, I could tell you're older than what you say you are. And he lied. He's a manipulating liar. But I would say date somebody in your youth, so you both. The Bible says that, for a husband to enjoy his wife in her youth. Date somebody in your youth, in your age, so you both can learn at the same time. Because when you date somebody that's way out of whatever, sometimes they will try to control you. You know what I mean? They would try to control you or manipulate the things that you like. Oh, that's that young type stuff. Or that's that, nah. My sister, she ended up marrying a man that was almost, I think he was like 30 years older than her. Like, he was older than our father. And I couldn't believe my sister lost her mind behind it. She ended up having 3 kids behind him, but she literally lost her mind. She literally like lost her mind, like literally suffers from schizophrenia. And that's because, he wanted her pregnant and barefoot in the daggone kitchen. And he was one of them old school type of dudes. At the end of the day, she compressed and gave up her happiness and her youthness for some old man. You know what I mean? So I would honestly say that to the young ladies out there. Don't be sitting up here dating no old man. Just don't. Like, I mean, I get it, when you become of age, you could be compatible in a different way, but if I don't know, I would go with God with that. But I know when I was looking at my sister, I'm like, he is too old. And I remember his brother trying to holler, and I said, I'm sorry, but I don't date old men. And he got so upset, but I'm like, I know. Like, ugh. But anyway, I saw my sister go through a lot dealing with stuff like that. I saw my sister almost lose herself. When my husband dragged me up in court, I almost lost myself. I literally almost, I would never lose myself ever again. I found something that's so much better than a relationship, that I'm never ever going to lose myself ever again. So I know this is a long segment, but some of y'all need to kind of unlearn what you learned out here. Like, you got one guy out here, he's teaching these guys how to be pimps. I'm talking about, he teaching them how to play these girls. I'll never forget. As long as I live, I'll never forget what he said. He said, it's gonna sound real evil, but when you meet a girl, what you do is this: in order for you to gain her trust, it's like you have to deflower her. Deflower. I'm really thinking of somebody taking a flower and snatching the petals off of this flower. I'm like, deflower her. You really gotta deflower her. So what you do is you gain her trust. You call her, ask her how her day was, make her feel special. You show up the first day and you take her on a date. You be, nice, you pay for everything, treat her real good, have a good time, and then you drop her off home. And then he says the second time, do the same thing. The third time, if you say, I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock to pick you up. This is what he says, y'all. At 8 o'clock, if she is not out front at 5, I guess I don't know if he even gave minutes. He said, pull off and don't answer the phone. And and what's gonna happen is she gonna keep blowing up your phone, and then you tell her, look, when I say I'm gonna be here at a certain time, I'm gonna need you to be ready at a certain time. You isn't respectable. That's that narcissistic stuff. Like, that's narcissist. Like, and this dude is on YouTube teaching men to be dogs. So the reason why I have to speak to my young ladies out there is so you can stay away from these dogs. You know what I mean? So you can literally not even give them that you can literally not even give them the time of day. Because anytime when you got a nasty demonic coach teaching you how to deflower somebody and hurt a woman's feelings just so you can gain control and be manipulating, that's evil as heck. It's evil. It's evil. So I say this and I mean this. Like, y'all gotta really pick and choose of who you dealing with. Number one, Sullivan. If you want a man to want you and you want him to pick you, or you want him to notice you, or y'all go out, or you talking about you want him to pick you, you know what I'm saying? Don't give him anything. Handshakes and conversations. Now, another thing too, a lot of women, like for instance, I'm a talker. I would love to listen to my husband's voice. Like, I would love to like listen to him talk and tell stories and his mind and what he's thinking. Like, I could just listen to him all day. A lot of women like to listen to their significant other talk. They like to be in the company of that person, whether they be on the phone or whether they be in the company of this person. And just how sweet is it where you're just literally having a really great conversation. It could be about anything. It could be about plants, the world, the weather, different destinations, place, just anything. Just a great conversation, and it's not ending because you didn't give up anything. There's no silence in the room after it's all over. You're like, man, that was a great conversation, and you can go back the next day and have, some tea, or go out for coffee and have a great conversation, or go somewhere fun and really enjoy and have laughter and joy and peace. See, that's what's going on, is that you're taking the conversation out of everything. You drinking and you're smoking and you cutting straight to the point of it, and then when it's over, you have nothing to look forward to anymore. You have nothing to look forward to. What are you going to say? The conversation, there's nothing to talk about anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to tell you, there need to be a huge movement. Sullivan crew ain't giving up jack, ain't giving up a dag on thing. You know, you're not giving up. Yeah, you got a lot of men out here talking about they want a traditional woman, but in that traditional woman does not give up her body. And I don't even think what's the big ideal about it, because I'm like, what's what's wrong with everybody where y'all just doing stuff. But again, y'all so exposed to what you shouldn't have been exposed to. There's so many things on the internet now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord, let me turn this heat off. How do I turn this off? I don't even want no heat in the daggone back. But yeah, so that's what you need to do. Sullivan, Sullivan, Sullivan. You want him to want you. You want him to see about you. You want him. Don't give up jack. Have conversations. Say, so how's it going? How was your day today? Oh, okay. So what was that all about? Oh, well, have conversations. Have conversation. And that's another thing too. Y'all so on your phone, y'all don't even know what to talk about. I'm a talkative person. I can talk to everybody. I can find things to talk about. So how about them? I'm not even into the dag on football, but I'll be like, how about them Redskins? How about I heard some guys talking about the Lakers. What's going on with that? I don't know jack about any of that. You know what I mean? Or I could talk about things that I like to do. You know, some of y'all don't even know how to conversate because y'all on the phone texting with y'all thumbs. I told you I met a friend and she can text. When I tell you, I ain't never seen somebody text so fast with her freaking thumbs. But when you in front of her, she didn't have a conversation. That's because some people have lost the art of being able to communicate. And that's why when you hurt one another, nobody's really communicating to say, you hurt my feelings. You made me feel bad. You really hurt my feelings. And that's the reason why I lashed out like that, because you said something that really touched me. Some people don't know that. Y'all don't know how to freaking communicate. You need to understand, you need to learn how to communicate, learn body language too. Learn how to have a conversation without saying, um, you know, stop always trying to be a boss bad girl. Like that's not cute. That's only that image that they show in the rap scene and in Hollywood and all of that. But in real life, no, you are a human being that has feelings. You sit up here and portray this bad girl mentality, and the next thing you going through some bad girl situations. Remember what I said, you become what you think about. Don't be sitting up here. I gotta be like this, and he gonna know because he gonna No, 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 not doing it. Let me tell you something. Some of the OGs, some of the old gals, some of the seasoned women, they ain't putting up with none of that mess. You crazy? Y'all sitting up here jumping through hoops for men who look at you like, please, I had you last week. I'm not working for your hand. You know what I mean? They sit up here, they don't even open the door for you, but the other one they'll open the door for because she got class. And it's okay if you felt like, dang, I didn't think of it that way. Go back to charm school. There is this one lady on YouTube, and she teaches you how to really be poised and charm. Learn these things, ladies, because some of y'all didn't learn it from your mamas. And I can't lie, because I was out in the world at one point in time thinking that I had to portray this certain type of image in order for somebody to love and respect me. But I realized this, I don't have to lift a daggone hand to do anything. I don't. You don't have to be in my presence, and I don't have to be in your presence. You don't owe me anything, and I don't owe you anything. But one thing's for sure, one thing that I do know is that I know my worth. I know my worth. I know my worth. You know what I'm saying? I know my worth. I know what I want. I know where I'm going, and I know what I'm not going to deal with. I know what I've been through, and I'm glad I made it through the headaches that I dealt with these dudes out here. The arguments, the crying, the fighting, the pain, the abandonment. You know what I'm saying? That I did this for you and you treated me like this. I gave you my body and you treated me like this. I gave you a child and you did this to me. Now I'm like, I ain't giving nothing up. Nope. I'm being selfish this time around. I don't care. Oh, I know. No. And if I knew what I knew in my early 20s, is that number one, remember what I said, you become what you think about. You don't become something because you went and got a degree. It's what you think. What you think, it comes into play of your reality. How you're your future is going to lay out. And you got to look at the guys that you attract in your life. And you got all of these guys sitting up here talking about women ain't this, women ain't that. But then you need to check yourself, because why you keep attracting them type of women? All the women out here ain't, what you, why you keep attracting them? I told you earlier in the video, guy pulls up in a really nice hot rod, and he like, "How you doing?" And the girl like, "I'm finding you," and she gets in the car and he start asking her these questions, but really he got her on YouTube to get her stuck and to make her look bad. And everybody looking at him like, "What is you doing?" Like, you get off by hurting women and degrading them. You had you had one guy that was on YouTube, and he goes up to all of these women and he be like, "What's your sign?" "I'm a Virgo." "Oh, we can't work together." He went through every single sign. "We can't work together." And what he purposely did was he went to all the attractive, pretty women, and he said something nice to them, and then he shut them down really quick. Ladies, stay away from them type of dudes. Stay away from them dudes with egos that don't even need to have these type of egos. Like, stay away from them, because what they want to do is they want to hurt you. They want to build you up so they can tear you down. Just like the guy said, you got to deflower her. Deflower what? I'm thinking to myself, I done put some roses in the backyard and I got a couple of hydrangeas. Deflower what? That's what y'all dealing with now. See, again, I'm out of the dating game. I don't want to be in a dating game. And if you ask me, it's a hot daggone mess out there in the daggone dating game. But shoot, if they're going to have this horrible demonic coach, y'all might as well have a coach behind y'all trying to let y'all know how it is. Don't give up nothing. Don't give up the box. Don't give it up. Trust me, you'll have more clarity in your life. You're gonna be able to get stuff done. All of that, the test or the job or the trip or the stuff that you said you wanted to do in your life, and the losing weight or whatever the goal may be, you're not gonna have no distractions, because you ain't gonna have no dude there distracting you. Okay? You're not gonna, you don't have to satisfy something who ain't even putting in the time, and they're not even asking for your hand in marriage. And some of them will put a fake ring on your finger just to shut your trap. And the whole time they ain't walking down that aisle. I had an ex-boyfriend of mine. We were engaged, to be honest with you, before I got married. But they asked him, "When are you getting married?" You know what he said? "Never worry." You know? And I can hear his sisters crackling in the background. And we never did. We never did. I tell you one day ago thing, when he left and he tried to come back, I'm sorry. I was like, "I'm sorry. I can't promise you anything." Never went back. Never. He looked different, because by then I was on to a whole different kind of man. Like, I didn't want that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so he realized, he was like, "Yeah, you were fun to be." I know I was fun to be around with. I was encouraging, you know, uplifting. I'll pray, I'll be there, I did all of that. But at the end of the day, some people don't need that, because they don't know what they have until it's gone. And I'm not, you got chicks that's, my age, they never been married before. They still got love to give, but I'm like, please, I'm retired from that. I'll show up to the wedding and talk to y'all and let y'all know, if y'all cheat, y'all both going to hell. That's what I'll do. I'll let you know something, is that you need to focus on yourself. If there's one thing, and I know some people like, what? No, but you really do need to focus on yourself. You need to really write down the things that you want to do in life. And you say you want to be, let me close this door. You say you want to be, married or whatever, then you got to ask yourself this question: what type of man do you want to be married to? Because The men that you attract in your life, like I said, they're either going to make you or they're going to break you. And 9 times out of 10, if they're not serious about marrying you, I feel like after 6 months, y'all should already be knowing whether or not you're going to. I'm not saying you jump into it quick, but the whole purpose of courting and dating is to see whether or not you are going to get married. Like, I don't care what anybody say. A lot of folks out here be all like, well, ain't nothing wrong with dating. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that if you want to go to hell. If you want to burn for eternity for knocking the boots and you not married, you didn't make this thing legit, and you sitting up here knocking the boots playing husband and wife, and now both of you find each other in hell, you find yourself in hell, then I guess that it would be nothing wrong to you. But no, you have to keep God's commandments. And also, too, don't think because you sitting up here, you with your boo, I love him so much, I'm going to give him a baby. No, all you're going to do is just be a baby mama. And I hate to tell you, some majority of the time, the man's not there. He really isn't. You know, I a lot of people looked at me and were like, but they used to call me Betty. But Betty, you did it the right way. You did it the right way. And I said, and I still landed into the baby mama crew. Now, didn't I? From my husband who made it that way. Child got the same daggone last name as mine. And we got his last name. But hey, I thought a child would change my husband. I thought he was going to be like, look at my wife. Look at her. Look at her. I'm laughing. But no, I thought he was going to be like, look at my wife. She brought this baby in the world after we went through hoops trying to bring forth life into the world. Look at her. No, as soon as I had our daughter, he despised me. It was like a spell came over the man. So I could imagine what y'all would go through. I'm just saying this. If I knew what I knew now in my 20s, if I knew what I knew now in my 20s, I'd probably be in my daggone 7-bedroom, 11-bathroom, double staircase with the elevator in the house. You know what I mean? If I knew what I knew right now, you know, there would have been a lot of gray hairs that wouldn't have came. But I dealt with a lot of stress, a lot of drama. And I mean this, I know I say it like very sarcastically, but what I know now, I'm never giving this up. I'm never giving this piece up. I'm never giving that up. But I wish that there were women that could have coached me, when we were younger, when I was younger. We were out there sitting up there. We were like basically maids, you know what I mean? Everybody trying to get a man and trying to show a man what we can do. Cook, clean, all this in bed and whoop, whoop, whoop. And at the end of the day, you just like, one thing you can't get back, you cannot get those years back. You just can't. Now, with me marrying my husband, do I regret that? No, I don't regret it. I don't. I I don't regret marrying him, and I don't regret our child. I love my child. She is like the highlight of my day, and she looked just like her father. And I'm like, if there's one thing this man did right, is help create this beautiful baby. So, I don't regret that. I don't. But I do regret the times that I wasted on men in my early 20s. The times where I was supposed to finish this class, this school, that trade or whatever, but I was chasing him. I was thinking, and this is the truth. I was thinking that he was going to provide for me. This man is going to provide a lifestyle for me. I was thinking he was going to put me in a home, a house. He was going to take me out to dinners and stuff, and he was going to be this, little did I know, shoot, I did it. No, God did it. But little did I know, and I'm like, dang, if I would have known that back then, I didn't even need to have that dude in my face or that one over there. If I would have known what I knew, man, I could have been. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of women think that way. A lot of women think like, "Dag, what I did." And I'm not old. You see what I'm saying? I'm 40. I'm 40, and I still got a lot of mileage on me to go. And what I mean is like, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to waste my precious time on nobody. So in your 20s, in your 30s, I would say don't waste it. No, let them work. Let them. I'm not gonna say be lazy and just be like, you don't have to work. You don't have to tell nobody. You know who's for you just by their actions. You know who's for you. You got a guy coming to you and he bringing you flowers. He's asking to take you out. Y'all go places. Y'all have a good time. He pay the bill. He drop you off. He very respectable. And then on this end, you got this dude coming over here and you think he cute because he got some saggy pants on and a mouth full of freaking, I don't even know. And then he's sitting up here like, what you doing? Okay. Like, he got like 4 kids. I had to tell this young lady, she's 20. How old is she? She's 24. And I'm like, well, the guy that you got, he's a very nice guy. He works. Y'all go places. So why you sitting up here talking to this guy? Well, I'm like, nah, I'm trying to tell you some real stuff. Don't go for the bad guys. Don't go. What you gonna be, baby mama, baby mother number 5? Like, he got child support to pay. Would you want to get married so they could take you for child support too? Don't let the looks get you. Don't think, because them looks can fade. I saw dudes back in the day that I grew up with. The same ones to be like, you women are old, you women are 40. Man, I grew up with these dudes and I'm like, dag, back in his heyday, he was something. But look at him now, he all ran down. That's because he done ran through all of them daggone women. He done caught something, you know. And some of them even say like they hurt their body so much that when it's time for them to perform, when it's time to put them to perform, they can't. I'm like, it's that bad. That's why you got to be celibate. You got to be celibate because I be hearing women in their 20s, 30s, and older sitting up here trying to get this veg what is it surgery. I'm like, somebody told me, I said, vag surgery, what's that? When they tighten up, and I'm like, what do they need to tighten stuff up for? What are y'all doing out here? Y'all should see my face. I be like, y'all need this celibate. I'm sure it's just like you gotta be celibate. Like, let me tell you, like, you gotta be celibate. You have to be celibate. I don't care. And a lot of men that go like, don't be telling them women to be celibate. Y'all gonna work. Y'all gonna have to start going back to chopping trees down. Y'all gonna have to go back to in competition to get somebody's hand in marriage. Y'all want some traditional stuff? You gotta go back to the commandments. You gotta go back to the commandments. You can't fornicate. You want somebody to treat you. You want somebody to treat you with respect. You want somebody to love you. You want somebody to respect you and know like, no, I can't. That's my lady right there. I can't be like that around her. Like, you know what I'm saying? You 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 really want you can't, no, see, around thoughts in them, you can, men know how to turn that off and on. But when the real man really sees the type of woman that has that type of class, he comes in a different way. And if you want to be that type of woman, then you need to look at your surroundings. And is there anything about you that you want to better yourself and your state? Like, I literally had to change the person that I was by my mind. I had to clean a lot of things out, and I had to get rid of a lot of the things that I dealt with in my past. There are certain things in my lifetime right now that back in the day, nope, nope, I don't do that. I don't do that. I used to smoke back in the day. I used to smoke weed back in the day. Nope, don't do that. I used to do a lot of stuff back in the day, and I'm like, nope, don't do that. People be like, Mona, you still not in no relationship? Nope, don't do that. You know why? Because when I go home, I know I'm worried about a daggone. Because let me tell you something. I'm not worried about no test. People out here sitting up here. One of the young girls I spoke to, she said, "Well, I get my test and I take my test." I said, "What do you get the test for?" Well, when safe sex, I get tested. Tested for what? So if your test came up negative, then you go back again and get another test to wait for it to turn positive. And I know I sound like an old grandma, but I cannot stress it enough. Celibacy will get you it'll get you in a lot of ways where you won't feel the attachment of somebody when they walk out of your life. Because you're like, I ain't lay down with a dude I didn't have sex with you. There's no strings on me, baby. You know? Because when you lay down with somebody and you have sex with somebody, again, you start to connect in a way that you're not supposed to at that state because you're dating. So when he decides that he wants to leave you, now you crying and going to convulsions and y'all not even married and it feel like somebody died. Let him go. And that's why I tell y'all right now, stop. Let me tell you something. Y'all want a good man to find you, don't give up the goods. He said he loved me. He lied. That's just like what's your guy name? Martin. Remember when he played on that movie, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate? And they knew never to say the L word, never to say I love you. And when he ended up having sex with that lady, and she was like, "But do you love me?" And he was like, and he went ahead and said, "I love you." And I don't know why throughout the movie I was rooting for her. I was like, that serves him right for lying to you. But bottom line, and I'm not sitting up here and I'm not promoting violence, but don't believe everything that everybody is saying. Don't trust your body to somebody. Like, number one, you become what you think about. So what type of woman do you want to be? God had created you to be here for a purpose, and it's not just to be somebody's wife. That's just a title. That's a part of life. You were born in this world by yourself, and you're gonna leave by yourself. What are some of the traits and the talents that you have to do on earth? And while you're doing it, enjoy it while you can, because when you get married, the Bible really talks about you start worrying about your spouse in today's world but when you're single, you worry about the Lord. Like, you're more so in tune with the Lord, and you're more so in tune to the things that you want to do. With him, you just like, I gotta get home because he hungry. I gotta make sure that I pick his stuff up. Oh, and it's all about him. That's how it was with me. With me, it was like, oh, and I'm not going to lie. I did enjoy going shopping for my husband. I enjoyed picking out shirts and stuff and ironing them and stuff and picked up his outfits. Like, I enjoyed that. I really did. And I enjoyed picking out like colognes and stuff like that he really enjoyed. And, but I felt like I was his therapist, his cheerleader. I was everything that I wanted him to think and to go to me. I wanted him to know that I loved him that much. And there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes you lose yourself by giving so much of yourself to somebody, and they shouldn't have all of that. To the point where you stop being happy, because if they're not happy, you're not happy. If he comes home, why are you doing this? All of a sudden you arguing with him, and you really hurt because he's not loving you. He's not kissing you on your forehead or giving you a hug and rubbing your back. He's just complaining, and now you ready to fight, and then it turns into this whole whatever. You have to first learn how to love and respect one another. Women want love and men want respect. That's why the Bible says to love your wife like Christ loved the church. And for wives to submit to your husband like the church submits to Christ is respect. You know what I mean? But when y'all come off like me, you started off that daggone way. you wondering why things ain't going the way that you want them to go. You started off that way. But number one, Sullivan, don't give up nothing. If he be like, how come you ain't? Because I'm not married. You ain't put a ring on this. I don't care. Like, I'm serious. Like, you got to be selfish with your body. Because that body, if you with this guy and something happened and he slip up, then that body is going to be bringing forth his children. If you get married, that body is going to be bringing forth. No, I don't know what's going on with men out here that's just like, these women ain't the prize. Like, they are literally walking around here with mirrors on, and I'm like, and you gonna birth out a baby? You gonna do that? Like, they gotta be like, pick me so I can deal with you. And it's gotten to the point that a lot of women are waking up because they're just like, I'm not no slave, Slim. I'm not just supposed to be cooking and cleaning and then going to work and then coming home and catering to you while you sit up here and do all of this all day. No thanks. And you got a lot of these seasoned women that's like, yeah, go to them young stupid ones, because the real women over here, real women, are not putting up with that because they've been through it already. They know the games. They know the telltale. They know the narcissist behavior. They went through it and they just like, I'm not getting back in that ring. I'm not even stepping foot up in the arena. I'm not even buying tickets for the show. You know what I mean? If y'all want to deal with it, y'all want to deal with it. But I would tell the young ladies out here, date somebody in your youth, but also find out what your talents are and do not give up the cookie at all. And then you say, well, Mona, I know you're probably afraid to ask, but when should I give up the cookie? Until you get married. Some of y'all be like, but aren't we supposed to try? You was never supposed to try anything. You was never supposed to even do that until you got married. That's the beauty of celibacy. That's the beauty of waiting. You know, the United States is, and you know, some places around the world, they be rocking like that. But other places, they wait until they get married. And that is what it was intended to do, to wait until you get married. Wait until you get married. Y'all sitting up here playing Russian roulette, and some of y'all just, you need to give your bodies a break. And I know a lot of people, they don't want to hear that. I mean, it was funny when they would ask me questions and was like, you ain't did what? I'm like, no. And it's because a lot of spiritual things come into play, like literally spiritual things come into play when you have sex with somebody. You are literally exchanging spirits. And also, too, I was taught this when I was in school. If you had sex with somebody, if let's say you had sex with a man, if he had sex with 1,000,000 women, you just had sex with 1,000,001 person, him. You cannot just sit up here and give your body over to people. You know, and then you got folks out here that don't even believe in safe sex. Safe sex is no sex. Don't give up Jack, because that's the person that a man will go after, is something that he has to conquer. And the simple fact that Monisha and Quisha and Kiana, Kiera, and Sarah, and all of them chicks over there, they sitting up there giving it up so easy. He just like, I already went through, but what's up with that? And then when he realized he not even on your level to obtain you. He not even, no thanks, darling, but thank you anyway. You know, he's not even on your level. He wish he could be on that level. He gotta go back and scrub himself, and he gotta unlearn everything that he was taught from that guy on YouTube about deflowering women, because now he didn't came across a real flower that you can't deflower. You gotta know your worth. If you don't know your worth, somebody is going to treat you worthless. You got to know your worth. God, when he created you, he didn't make no mistakes. And he daggone sure while you laying on your back, what you think God doing? God looking at you like, oh yeah? And then when you're dealing with the repercussions behind it because of your disobedience, babies have been born out of wedlock because of disobedience, because people can't wait. STDs and all types of stuff then came into play because of your disobedience. It got curses on these things. Let it go. Let it go. You want to know, you sit up here talking about what can I do to obtain a good man? It's what can he do to obtain a good woman? You shouldn't have to worry about any of that. But on your voyage of finding yourself, finding happiness and bliss and sweetness and joy and just wonderful things in this world. And it ain't got to be about money. It could just be just the little things that is just so exciting to be around. You know, just enjoying the little things. Like some people think that they're going to find their happiness in a man. Now, I got news for you. You're gonna be very disappointed. You're going to be very disappointed. You're going to be very, very disappointed. And so all I can say is this. You become what you think about. Don't give up the goods. Don't give up the goods. Let them work for it. Make sure if you go on any dates, I would go somewhere like, public, coffee house, something like that. And a lot of y'all grown enough. You don't, if you want to drink, you don't have to go out on a date and just be drunk. And you could sit at home and don't even go on no daggone date. And then when you do go out on a date, drink some coffee and stuff. You really want to know a person, know them when you're sober. Know them when you're sober. That's when they really going to show you who they are. And while you're sober, you're going to say to yourself, man, I don't like this dude. I didn't realize he got a very narcissistic behavior. He got a very nasty behavior. And then, you'll start to really notice that. But see, when you're drinking and you're sipping or you're smoking, you cloud the reality of certain stuff, and you don't see traits until later on when you sober and y'all going back and forth and you like, where did this come from? You never saw it. That's why most people feel like, and don't get me wrong, you can drink but don't get drunk. I get it. People go out and they have wine and stuff like that and they have a really good time. But some people go out there and get dirt wasted and do the most craziest things and forget what happened. You always want to be on your alertness, okay? You always want to be on your alertness. What did you say? Yeah, I'm about to hit the gym. I got my bag. You said, girl, get it. That's the best therapy, God, after God. I think ABB has brought my future wife into my existence. 3 years celibate, and it's been nothing but a blessing. I praise God he didn't allow me to marry my heathen ex. Thank you, Jesus. All right, good for you. And this is, oh, hey, sister, how are you? Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about that. That's all I have to say about that. Like some people would get it quickly. I figure when you want to be in charge of your life, you'll get it quickly. But when you want to be hard-headed as heck, you're going to fall. You're going to really fall. So the things that I know now, I be looking at them and I'm like, you did what? They did. I couldn't believe my friend was telling me, I'm talking about young, 20s, 30s. Y'all out here doing this ratchet, nasty stuff. And then y'all want to get married. Y'all have opened so many doors and unclean things into your life. And then you want this healthy, righteous relationship when none of y'all are right within yourselves. Like, work on you first. Write down and ask God what type of woman you want to become, and really envision yourself being this woman, and envision the type of man that you want in your life. You can't be dealing with them around the way dogs unless that's what you into. Unless that's what you into. I mean, you really cannot be dealing with these around the way dudes unless that is something that you into. And don't ever let nobody tell you that you are not a high valued woman. I don't care if you 300 pounds. I don't care if you got bags under your eyes. When God created you, he did not make no mistake. You got to remember, out of all of the sperm that made it to the egg, it was your sperm that made it there it was the sperm that made it there that created you, that was carrying you. So you are, you just, your very existence, an alien from out of this world that's not even from this world, would be like, how could you even be? When God created you, he ain't make no mistakes. And for every man there is a woman. There is a woman that's meant for you. So don't be sitting up here trying to be a size one. If somebody telling you you got to look like this and you got to be that to become that, if that's the case, we look at all of these daggone celebrities that's dealing with Botox, and y'all got all these millions of dollars, and you lost all this weight, yet you still dealing with the same issues that everybody else is dealing with. And the reason why they dealing with that is because you're not keeping the commandments of God. You're not. So you got to start abiding by his commandments if you want a healthy lifestyle, you know what I mean? And you want a fruitful life, a life that's not hardship, like literally the road is narrow, but it can be easy to walk if you just follow God's lead on it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, y'all have a blessed night tonight.